I think that since I started painting the courses, I have just grown in appreciation for like the beauty and the architecture of courses, which is not something that I ever thought about before. I was just like, a golf course is a golf course. And I know that's definitely something that's hard for people who don't golf to understand. And so I feel like I'm kind of this bridge in between the non-golfers and the golfers, especially within relationships. If there's someone who's always wanting to golf on the weekends, I feel like just painting them has made me appreciate the beauty and like all the, I love spending time outdoors. And so I'm always down to find a new way to spend time outside.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Whole Story Podcast. This is Robbie and Jonathan. We've got a very special guest today. Appreciate you guys joining us. Really quick, just to recap a few of the tournaments recently. Over on the DP World Tour, we had the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship, a Ryder Cup hero for the European side. Matt Fitzpatrick came out winning that one. Jonathan, I don't know if you saw it, but it seemed like they have the biggest trophy in golf, maybe. Matt's not a huge guy, but this thing was dwarfing him. And they had to get past some rain delays. I've been to Carnoustie. I didn't play it, but that thing was underwater on Saturday. So anyway, good for him to win. And on the PGA Tour, the Sanderson's Farm Championship, Luke List got his second win on a playoff, 5-person playoff, and he drained like a 40-foot something birdie putt in his playoff hole to win the thing. So pretty exciting for him, but as we always say, we're not here to recap any golf tournaments. We've got a guest we want to get to.
Yeah, so today our guest is not our first artist, I'll be honest, but it's definitely in this medium. Just so you know, this is Allie Ross from Aiken Design, from Allie Aiken Design down in Austin, Texas. Allie, you don't rap or do anything like that, do you? This is just painting, right?
No rapping for me. I try to just stick to painting.
We're trying to be inclusive whenever we talk about artists, because we've had a rapper, we've had a piano player, and now we have our first more like a solid medium when it comes to art,
Yes.
Allie Ross. So tell us about, I guess, the first question most of us would have is, how in the world do you start painting golf courses? Like, how does that even start?
That is a great question, and I get it all the time. But first, I just have to say, I wish I could offer some musical talent, but I'm definitely lacking there. So I'm glad you've met other people that can offer that in the golf space. But so about in 2020, so 3 years ago, my now husband, he had just finished working at two different golf courses. Between us graduating college and him starting his full-time job, he had about 8 or 9 months to kill basically before starting his full-time gig. And so he worked at two different golf courses, one in Maine called Sunday River, and then one in Wellington, New Zealand called Royal Wellington. And he was assistant golf pro there. I believe that's correct. I might say that wrong. I'm pretty sure he's assistant golf pro. And so then once he got back from that and started working in the corporate world, he wanted a way to commemorate his time working at both those golf courses. And I had always done some watercolor painting just for fun and kind of on the side, making greeting cards and more cute things, not golf or sports related things. And so I painted the watercolor aerial view of the two courses he worked at. And it was really just a snowball from there. After I painted the two for him, I did a few more local Austin courses, and I was selling them without even really like anticipating on selling them, which was amazing.
So I got to ask there, we got to stop. He said he worked at a course in Maine and New Zealand. That's not like, weekdays at Maine, weekends in New Zealand. How did that come about?
It was split into two different gigs. Yeah. So the first, he went to Maine first, and while he was there, he was kind of researching what he was going to do the second half of this, like just basically like free time that he had. He wanted to obviously still make money before starting his full-time job in order to support his, living and everything. And so he decided, because he's always loved golf, he's always been a golfer, that he wanted to just take a stab at being in the golf industry, since that wasn't what his full-time job was going to relate to. And so, yeah, he worked in New Zealand for about 3 or 4 months, and then in Maine for about 3 or 4 months. So we're actually going back. We're going to New Zealand this December to visit his course, and I'm going to see Wellington.
I was about to say, are you going to try to convince him that there's lots of things to paint and color in New Zealand? Like you
I'm
can
like,
paint in Austin or New Zealand.
there's a lot of places. I'm like, oh, we could go there. There's a cool golf course there for you, and I could be entertained there as well. So, we're definitely both the traveling and adventure type. So there's not a lot of convincing happening.
So do you play golf yourself?
I have golf clubs. They were Campbell, my husband, gave them to me on his birthday. It was his gift to me for his birthday, and I've swung them a few times now. He's a huge golfer. He plays multiple times a week if he can get out there after work. We live across the street from a municipal golf course here in Austin, and so I really enjoy going to the course with him and walking while he walks, 9 after work, and I'll bring our dog. And if I'm really feeling it, I'll swing a club.
That was my
So
answer.
obviously,
That was
go
my
ahead,
answer
Rob.
when somebody said, "Do you play guitar?" And I said, "Well, I have a guitar."
Exactly. You have to start somewhere. So
Yes.
So as an artist, what is it about a golf course that sort of draws you to that type of thing?
yeah, well, I obviously, from what I was saying before, I did not grow up golfing. My dad's not a golfer. And so I grew to appreciate golf when Campbell and I started dating because I had no choice. He is very passionate about golf. And I think that since I started painting the courses 3 years ago or 4 years ago almost, I have just grown in appreciation for like the beauty and the architecture of courses, which is not something that I ever thought about before. I was just like, a golf course is a golf course. And I know that's definitely something that's hard for people who don't golf to understand. And so I feel like I'm kind of this bridge in between the non-golfers and the golfers, especially within relationships. If there's someone who's always wanting to golf on the weekends, I feel like just painting them has made me appreciate the beauty and like all I love spending time outdoors. And so I'm always down to find a new way to spend time outside.
So how do you then go about picking the courses? If you look at AlleyAikenDesign.com, you have courses all over the place. How do you pick the ones that you are going to paint?
So that's a great question. They have pretty much been picked for me over the past 3 years because I it's crazy. You would think that after 3 years, you would have kind of a repertoire of courses that people want, but everyone has their own special course and a course that is meaningful to them, whether it's where they grew up playing, where they maybe played in a tournament or went on a trip. And so there's always a new one that somebody is looking for. And so people request custom courses all the time. And now I've painted a little over 400 courses at this point. So luckily, I feel like I'm starting to have a baseline of the ones that people are looking for when they do come to my website. But mostly, and then I have a calendar that follows the PGA Tour schedule. So those are courses that I've added on my own, and they're obviously more popular and well-known courses. So those are good to have as a baseline too.
Are you basically starting to tell people that if they want you to paint it, your husband has to come play it first? So like you get like another trip out of it. You should be like, hey, I'll come
I
do
think you
it
would
after I
love that
get
agreement. Yeah. Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be amazing? And that's why I'm like, it's great for us because I have so much more interest in, if we travel somewhere to see a certain course while we're there or like go ride along while he's playing a course. We went to LA earlier this year and I was like actually excited to go to the course that we were going to play, which if you would have asked me that 4 years ago, I'd say, no way, I'll just read my book while he plays. But now it's definitely something that we appreciate together, which is really nice.
So what's your process then? I mean, you're doing aerial kind of shots of the holes and paintings of the holes. What is your process if you're not going on site, or even if you are,
Yeah.
of figuring out what these holes look like, where the different, features are, the bunkers, the water, the greens, and the shapes of the greens? What's your process for coming up with that?
Yeah. It definitely has evolved over time. I feel like I've become a lot more efficient in getting all the intricacies of a golf course correct while I'm painting it. But I utilize a lot of different resources and kind of piece them together. So I use Google Earth mainly to get the aerial view of golf courses. Sometimes Google Earth isn't quite up to date if a course has recently been renovated, which I can usually find out through their Instagram or their website. And so some courses will have their scorecard on their website, but a lot of courses don't, just because some of their, web design is probably not their first priority with their personal courses. So there's not a lot on a lot of different websites, but there's an app I'm sure you're familiar with called 18 Birdies that people use to track their golf game. And so it gives you this amazing, like, hole by hole view of the course. And so I use 18 Birdies when I'm getting all the bunkers, the tee boxes, the water. That really helps me know that I'm placing those elements in the exact right spot, because people do know when something is off by, a centimeter. It's like, oh, that bunker is actually more in the curve here, or etc. So I try to keep it really efficient.
Do you have major courses reaching out to you now, or do you reach out to the folks the 400 plus courses you've now painted? Are you
Yeah,
selling some of those at their local shops?
it's it's really amazing, like on Instagram, just what tagging a course will do. I feel like I've started a lot of conversations with golf courses, that I'll probably never go to in Ohio, and states that I just like are not near me. And they are so reciprocative of my paintings, and they're interested in selling them. So I do have them in some pro shops. I have them in a pro shop in Wellington, the one that Campbell used to work at. And then in the US, there is quite a few pro shops that I have them stocked in. And then our municipal course that's across the street, I have a great relationship with them, and they keep my prints in stock there also. So it definitely goes back and forth with either them reaching out to me, or I'm like constantly tagging all the different golf courses when I post them to try to kind of get my name in their ear and get myself in their inbox.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Do you, and we mentioned, as I guess as before we started, you're doing some golf towels.
Yes.
Hopefully you're good with me saying that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Allie's starting to sell some golf towels. But you mentioned the calendar, and I saw that on your site. That looked really cool. Do you do
Yes.
other things? I mean, because you're painting it once, right, and then doing prints from there.
Right.
Do you do things like postcards or other kind of things?
Yeah, so I feel like that's a part of my business that I've focused on a lot this year, is kind of adding additional products on top of the prints in the original paintings. Because my thought process is, as someone who, Campbell was gifted the prints, and it's like, after you initially have a print of your course, what is something else that you would be excited to get? Because obviously you can only have so many prints of different golf courses. And so I've recently started selling mugs with the courses on them. I just got some in. I wish I had them near me, but and then the golf towels are a new addition as well. And in the past, I have some stickers of a few different courses, and stationery. So you can get a pack of, 6 cards and envelopes, and it will have your course on it, which is fun, especially if you were to go on, a gifted trip, or like a family trip, or you join someone on a trip. It's a great way to, you could give it to them as a gift, or you could write them a thank you note on the card as a gift. And then it turns into a postcard that you could frame or have at your desk or something like that. So I definitely have been trying to think outside the box in regards to what other products I can offer.
Yeah. One of the thoughts, just when reading through your stuff and seeing watercolor, for some reason came to my mind, that old paint by number thing. And I'm like,
Oh,
man,
yes.
you probably have this idea, but but like if you did like the outline of stuff and you made like a kid's pack or something of like, here's the
That's a
shapes,
great
you guys
idea.
paint by number, whatever you want.
Yeah,
And
I love that idea.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
I love hearing suggestions from other people, because I like I don't have kids, and so I don't think of kids coloring book as a first idea, but I think that's a great idea. And I most of the things that I do are because like people have said to me, "Oh, have you thought of doing XYZ?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, but now that you say that, I will try it." And I do like to try new things and throw them at the wall and see if they stick. So I'm always open to people's suggestions.
Yeah.
Robbie and I used to have little kids, and now our kids are much taller and older. But when they were little, it was the thing to do. Be like, hey, baby, I'm going to go play golf, but I'll take a kid with me. And it was the
Yeah, and they can
convenience.
color the course
If
while
they
I
had a
play.
paint by number, they could color every single hole along the way, a little flip book for the golf
Yeah.
course. That'd be awesome.
I would
I
like to
love that.
blame the kids, but I was kind of thinking that's what I would have done. So
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Robbie's got his pencils right beside him on next to his computer.
absolutely.
Colored
I
pencils.
color all day long.
That's right.
There are adult coloring books too. So
Oh yeah.
maybe, some
I
people
know.
like that as their little relaxation. So
Hey,
worth a try.
you do an adult coloring book? I bet there's some golf fans and stuff that that are retired or whatever that'll play, and then they'll want to sit there and draw or color their course.
Well,
Oh
you
yeah.
you mentioned that you can't have you eventually have too many postcards, but I know a lot of golf guys, and there's a lot of room on walls in people's houses that if you had a way for them to go in and pick like their favorite hole or their favorite course, they'd just fill it up.
Oh yeah, I always say that I think it's perfect like office art and like powder bathroom. I always see it hanging in people's bathrooms like off their office or their house. And my favorite is when it's like a Zoom call like this, exactly how you are with your art in the background. And I'll get pictures of people, with their three large prints lined up behind them in their work Zoom. And I personally think it's a great way to decorate and have a nice background. But
That's pretty cool. You did say that you have golf clubs, but we like to ask every single person on our podcast here, what is your best golf story?
oh gosh, let me think. What is my best golf story? Um, okay, well, this one is a great story. It may not be like embarrassing or funny the way that you're looking for, but so like I mentioned, Campbell, my husband is a huge golfer, and there's a national park in Texas called Big Bend, and we have gone every year for a few years. And 2 years ago, we went, and I was like, oh, for your birthday, I'd love to gift you a round of golf at the course Lajitas, which is a course that's near Big Bend, and it's beautiful. It has the Rio Grande running through it, and it's just like amazing. So I was really excited. I was really feeling like I was being girlfriend of the year and doing something really nice and spending money. And then while we were there, he proposed and we got engaged. So he really one-upped me at our golf trip there, but worth it. So that's a really special course to us now.
I'm assuming you painted that course, right?
Oh yes, for
Okay.
sure. And we've
The
been back
hole and
since
everything.
too. Yeah.
What
Oh,
hole did he propose on?
well, it was actually outside of the course, but Lajitas is the whole resort that has, zip lining and hiking and all the things around the national park. And so we played the round that morning, and then, or I guess it was maybe the morning before, and then afterwards got engaged on a hike. So
He could have
Great
sealed your
story.
love of golf if he had just like proposed to you on like the third hole, and you'd be like, I love golf. It's the best thing ever.
I think I'd be like, this is more for you. We're on a golf course. But it was really fun. And I was like, I tried to do something nice and you really won up to me. So I won't complain.
Welcome to the world of golf, right? Everybody's got a better story.
Everybody's got a better story.
So
Exactly.
I got to ask before we jump to our quick nine, are there courses that, because some courses are kind of particular about their stuff, right? Are there any that you've gotten pushback from that, hey, don't draw our stuff, don't do this?
So yes, I have gotten pushback from the course that you're probably thinking of, the most famous course. They are extremely particular about their branding, and I don't sell that course anymore. But
I
that's the only
understand.
experience I've had was one course. They reached out about 2 years ago now, and or a year and a half maybe, and just said like, hey, you can't sell those. And I said, okay,
Yeah.
I won't bother you again. I'll keep posting all the other ones, but not y'all. And they host, a large event every April. And so I'm pretty quiet during that week, which is unfortunate, but I respect it.
You should reach
Understand.
out to them. They've got a really nice social media director now.
Oh,
And you should see if
cool.
maybe she'd be open to you doing a commission piece for them.
Oh, we'll have to chat
Make it,
about
you have
that
to make it
offline.
official. If it's
Yeah.
official and make it sound like it's their idea, they're normally okay with stuff.
Yeah, okay. That is great advice, and I will take it.
All right. So we do this thing called a quick nine, and we mentioned this before. It's kind of a rapid fire. We'll just go back and forth. I'll ask the first question, and maybe this is we already heard the answer, but the favorite golf course that you've played.
Oh, yeah, I would have to say Lajitas because it's special and beautiful.
Yeah, good answer.
What is the favorite course that you've ever painted?
Pebble Beach because the water is just so beautiful.
Have you gone on site to see that one?
I unfortunately have not been to Pebble Beach, but that is my like number one bucket list course to go to, and Bandon Dunes.
Yes. All right, Pebble Beach, folks. If you're listening, we need to get her there.
Help a girl
So,
out.
yep, and we got to get Campbell a round or two out there as well.
Oh
So,
yeah.
all right. What is the weirdest, and this may be a golf or not golf question, what's the weirdest request of something or some subject that somebody's asked you to paint?
So the weirdest request, I don't even know if it was weird, but it was extremely unique. It was I painted a campus map of Auburn in like 2009. I guess their campus has changed since then, but they like particularly wanted this specific year. And I know nothing about Auburn and I don't live in Alabama, but it was we had to go back and forth a lot because of course they knew the campus a lot better than I did, but it was very unique.
As a Texas fan, did you insert like any type of orange shades that weren't Auburn orange?
It's like some like subtle touches of orange,
That's right.
some burnt orange, but you know, Texas is pretty particular about their branding as well. So you have to be careful with it.
All right. So besides golf, which I don't know if it's your favorite, but what is your favorite subject to paint?
I would say golf scenes, you know, like a picture of something at a golf course. Like for instance, I've painted the stadium at the Waste Management. That's my favorite thing to paint because I think it is extremely unique and it's more, you know, a bit more colorful and more paint on the page than the aerial view courses are, which I also love painting. But beside that, I like architectural paintings, whether it's houses, businesses, buildings, which is why I think I also like the more like scenic golf paintings in general.
The course that's in my background here is Landman in Nebraska. I just got to play that last week, and
Oh, nice.
they've got some incredible contours and shapes and everything. They've done a great job. It was voted like the best new public course in the country. So,
Oh wow. I'll have to look it
yeah,
up. Landman.
yeah, it's spelled Landman and with a D on the end at the end of
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll look it
in
up.
Homer, Nebraska.
Homer.
Yep. All right. So Pebble may be the answer. What course do you want to visit the most?
Yeah, Pebble Beach, Torrey Pines, I've never been to, and then I think Bandon Dunes in Oregon would be amazing.
I saw you had Kiowa on your stuff. Have you been to Kiowa before?
I haven't. I would love to visit that course as well. I'm pretty my list of courses, like top 100 courses that I've visited is extremely low. So I'm open to a lot.
Yeah, Jonathan and I too, but we probably won't be painting.
Yeah, that's fair. But you could
If
commemorate your trip with
if you get me color by numbers, I could
yeah, there
probably
you
like
go.
I just have to make sure I bring besides that little short pencil, I'd have to bring something else. So it's not like
Yeah, maybe a
grayscale. It'd have to be
crayon.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw on your website that you had painted a course in Cabo. Cabo's close to my heart and my stomach because I had my first golf course taco there. So we always ask this
Wow.
question: what is your favorite snack on the course? Since you do play a little bit, or do you have a favorite snack while you're painting?
Okay, so favorite snack on the course. I don't know if it's considered a snack, but our municipal course has margaritas in a pouch that you can buy. So you just it's like a Capri Sun. You just pop the straw in it and you have a marg while you're walking or riding. So I would say that's probably my favorite course snack. And then while I'm painting, my favorite snack, when I'm on like a late night grind of trying to get work done, because I also this is not what I do full time. I am a candy girl. I really like Nerds Clusters. So I'll eat a lot of those while I'm working.
Are they gummy nerd clusters or just
Yeah,
regular
like the
nerd clusters?
little round clusters. They're
Yeah.
gummy. Yeah, they're so good.
My kids buy lots of those. So yeah.
Oh yeah, they're addicting.
Yep. Well, that margarita will go well with Jonathan's tacos there.
That's right.
Do you
Yeah,
have
you would love our municipal course then.
yeah. Do you have a favorite golfer?
Well, I of course am akin to the UT grads, Jordan and Scotty. So I do like them. And then I recently, after watching the Full Swing documentary, have loved following Sahith. I loved his story on the documentary. And so since then, he's had a great year. And additionally, after the Full Swing, I've also liked following Tony Finau.
Yeah.
Family
Yeah.
man. Gotta love
Family.
him.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, it might be watercolor, but my daughter is an artist and she thought it'd be good to ask you, what is your favorite medium?
Oh, that is a great question. I guess I am biased to watercolor painting. That is my favorite medium. I haven't experimented a ton in painting outside of watercolor, but I would be interested in trying some more. So I might need some advice from her on where to start.
Sounds good.
All right. So what is the dream scenario for Allie Aiken Design in 2024?
The dream scenario, goodness. I think that a big goal for me going into 2024, business wise, I'll do a business and a fun, but business wise would be to have more like online advertising presence, whether that is like Google ads or Instagram ads. I've dabbled in those a bit, but you know, you can only do so much on when there's a lot of other aspects of the business to worry about. So that's something that I'm thinking about a lot going into 2024, and just having a presence online there. And then fun goal would be to play a full 18 while I'm in New Zealand in the beginning of 2024.
It sounds like that's going to be in December, right?
So we're actually going for 6 weeks. So we'll
Okay.
be there for quite a bit. We're working remote from New Zealand.
I was going to
So
say, Robin, we need to figure out what their full-time jobs are because
yeah.
we don't get to go. We don't get to go away for 6 weeks.
Yes, we're fortunate enough to be able to work remote from there. So that's what we'll be doing in Wellington.
Is it going to be full-time remote once you realize you're in New Zealand and not
The
Austin?
working hours will be an adjustment for sure because of the time difference, but we're actually traveling for about a week and a half and then going to work for 4 weeks and then travel again for a week and a half at the end.
Sounds like a great trip.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited.
Yeah. Plus you get to see where he was for a little while, right?
Yes, for sure. I'm excited to put some faces to the names and see this, amazing course that I've heard so much about in person, plus quite a few other amazing courses just in the surrounding area.
Are you hauling your golf clubs with you the whole time, or are you just going to rent whenever you get there?
I'll probably be a renter. Campbell will for sure be bringing his, no question. But I'm not sure, I think I'd rather bring an extra suitcase than my golf clubs.
You got to bring painting supplies. So
that's right.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Well, Ali, this has been great. Always fun to get different perspectives on golf and different approaches to what that looks like. Folks, if you are listening here, we'll make sure to tag it in a couple different places. You can find all of Ali's social on Best Ball, on all of our social media platforms, as well as the Whole Story Podcast. It's AliAikenDesign.com. And on Instagram, it's Ali Aiken Design. So like I said, we'll tag everything. Listener, we appreciate you hanging out through this entire thing and checking out what Ali's been doing. For Robbie and Ali, I'm Jonathan with the Whole Story Podcast.